Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. John here. It's New Year's Day. It's the 1st of January. It's a beautiful day here in Lincolnshire. The sky is blue and so is the Rover 75. In this video, I'm about to take the Rover 75 to Dad's house. It'll be the first time that he has ever seen this car, so I'm looking forward to getting his reaction. We'll get his reaction, he'll have a look around the car, and we'll see if we've got a good starting point for a good restorable classic car, or if I've bought something that is totally trash and will end up going to the scrapyard in the sky. Stay with it then, we'll get Dad's reaction. First, better get it warmed up and on the way. Right, so I have just arrived at Dad's house with the 75. You can see the Peugeot 406 is here, Dad's Nissan is here. Hello, good morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Yes, it is the 1st of January. Is this how you want to spend your January the 1st?
What do you think?
Right, okay, so full disclosure then, you didn't know about this until now. I've bought a Rover 75. What do you reckon of that?
Rover concern.
Well, this is Dad's genuine first reaction to the Rover 75. We're going to get him to look round it, talk about the Rover 75, see what he thinks, because like I said in the intro, I'm not a mechanic, I'm not an engineer. Dad is the Rover 75 expert. We'll see what you think. I've also got something to tell you, but we'll see if you discover that as we go round. What are you looking at? Oh yeah, I jet washed the car and jet washed the badge off. I have got the badge.
I forgot all about Rover 75s.
Tell me about your history with Rover 75s.
I had the dubious pleasure of being called the Rover 75 technical expert.
And what year was that?
When they come out.
So that'll be what?
Because I actually went to Cowley to see them being built before they moved to Longbridge.
What did you do when you was at Cowley?
They took us around the factory and they was really keen at the time. They hadn't become jaded with the new management and they was running around putting screens in their tea breaks and being really keen. They had a big sign up saying we're building the best front wheel drive car in the world.
And were they?
They're a glorified BMW, aren't they?
So
comfortable old car though, weren't they?
I drove it home. I drove it 300 and something miles home. It was an interesting drive, shall we say?
It's not wet in there though, is it?
In the boot?
No.
It's not wet in the boot. Do they leak in the boots?
Most old cars do, don't they? It's surprisingly tidy, isn't it?
You tell me. You're the Rover 75 man.
Think about it. What is it? 20-year-old?
Yeah. 24 years old today.
No, it's not. Is it?
W reg. So 2000.
How many miles has it got on it?
Oh, that's a very good question. I've forgotten. Let's go round and have a look. Not many. One owner from new. Owned by Mr. Cowley. No relation to the factory. I've got that many blooming cars. I can't tell you the mileage. What do you reckon? What do you reckon is the mileage?
Well, it's got less stone chips than my Nissan Note and it's only got 20,000 on it.
Oh, let's give this a wiggle. Well, I'm getting this service light. Stand by. 57,986 miles. Would you like me to pop the bonnet?
Yeah. It's been hurt a lot, has it?
As in damage?
Well, yeah, no, I mean stone chips and what have you.
No. It's cosmetically very good. But let's talk about the engine. Do you need me to pop the bonnet?
Well, I can't do it from out here.
No, there's a little tab in the grill, remember?
Oh, I can't remember. No, there's not a tab in the grill.
There is a tab in the grill.
Where?
It's here.
Why did it pop out?
Because it's a little bit
Sticky.
old. Sticky tabs. Yeah. So I had a problem on the way home. I overheated a little bit. Well, I say I overheated. All the water from in here disappeared.
Yeah.
I'm expecting that's a head gasket.
Well, the cap wasn't tight or the cap's leaking, isn't it?
What makes you say that?
It's all blown down here, isn't it? It's all blown down there, son.
So people on the internet tell me that these suffer with airlocks and bits and pieces.
Yeah, but the air's come from somewhere, isn't it? That's all perished, isn't it?
Is that the cap?
Yeah.
So I've not seen a grey one on the internet. They're all black. Would you say that's a genuine Rover part?
No idea, mate. I couldn't tell you. It's got it. It says it's German, doesn't it? where was this built then, mate? Do you know?
So this is built in the Cowley factory.
Right. So it was early then.
And registered in April 2000.
Well,
I have had a look at the VIN codes. The way to tell if it is a Cowley car is in the VIN will be the letter C. He says. I think that's right. I have decoded this. So S is Europe, A is the UK, RR I haven't decoded yet. JSL, that tells us that it's a... hang on a minute, I've got this right. It tells us the club model, that it's a petrol, that's a 1.8. M, I think M is Cowley, and then 122220. So this is a serial number of this car. Yeah. So 1 and 0 is always the same. So as far as I'm aware, it's car number 2222, built in 2000 at Cowley.
Interesting.
Which is quite a cool number.
That's before they dragged it off to Longbridge then.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also a pre-Project Drive car.
Yeah, we never used to talk about Project Drive. It's something that people sort of on the forums and what have you go on about, don't they?
So Project Drive...
Project Drive must have been more of a sales orientated thing rather than a technical thing.
So when you went to Cowley,
yes,
and I'm assuming later Gaydon.
Yeah, when they shut the training school down at Cowley, they opened the one at Gaydon. What
were you doing?
We just used to go and was telling us how wonderful the Rover 75 was. And they had some issues when they were new, but the official line was, we don't have problems, we have concerns. So we used to call it the Rover Concern.
So this is the club model. It's not the top spec. The top spec would be a Connoisseur SE, followed by a Connoisseur, followed by the Club SE, followed by the Club, but it's not the entry-level spec either.
You see, these are the sort of first thing we had where they put a bit of multiplexing on them.
What's that?
Multiplexing is when rather than sending a current down a wire, you send a signal down a wire to a control unit that switches stuff on and off. And that was our first foray into multiplexing, really. So it was all a bit new to us, that was. But this was old app technology, if you know what I mean. We've been doing this since the Rover 200. So
how long did you work for Rover, or with Rover?
From the 80s up to the 2000s. I know more about Rover 800s than these, really. I ain't forgot that.
But you are the, what is it, so what's the official title?
The official title was a Rover 75 Technical Specialist. He just went on the courses, really, that's all it was. He went on the courses.
But as a car, well, you know why I wanted a Rover 75 in Wedgwood Blue, because I've always banged on about the fact that you brought one home. I'm guessing that was when you were going on the courses you brought it home. Did you used to drive one?
I can't remember. Well, if we used to go to Gaydon, we usually used to take a 75, yeah. Because it was a bit posh, a bit upmarket, really. BMW was trying to upmarket Rover, really.
In what way?
Rover was a bit spit and sawdust. When I first went to a Rover training course, you all sat there with your blooming ashtrays on your desk and, you know, it was mechanics and you was there to do the course, then you went back to the hotel and you all had a good feed and a good drink. But then BMW wanted to take it a little bit more upmarket, so we had to turn up in shirt and ties and stuff like that. But no. But
Initial overall reaction?
well, apart from until you look under here, it's all right, isn't it?
What do you mean until you look under here? The fact that it's got a K-series engine?
Well, they all got flipping K-series engines apart from diesels, haven't they? I'm pleased it's not a KV6. I'm pleased about that, really.
For what reason?
Well, they're so blooming complicated, and you can bet your life that the blooming inlet manifold would have been rattling away. Because they're vis valves in the manifold and they break and it sounds like the engine's knackered, but it's not. It's just the manifold valves flapping about. Right then, well, we'll get the head off and...
Is that what we're doing?
The gearbox all right.
Seems it.
Yeah.
What sort of faults would you normally get on a Rover 75 of this ilk?
Cooling.
Cooling.
Yeah, cooling.
Clearly that is the issue I've had. Do you want me to tell you the symptoms? Or are you pretty just confident you're going to take the head off and you're going to put a new gasket on it?
No, we'll prove a point. We'll do a cylinder leakage test, a shed version. But, no, what did we have trouble with? There was a whole batch of them. The springs were breaking. We changed loads. There was a recall on the front springs. I did hundreds of front springs. The front springs were breaking, and then it used to spin round and go through the tyre.
Yes, somebody told me about that.
It was a safety recall. Changed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. But what else was there? Not a lot, really. I can't remember as such. No. No. You see, the sort of person who bought one of these moaned about stuff that now you wouldn't worry about.
Such as?
Well, any sort of thing, really. The slightest little problem, the sort of person who buys this is fairly fussy, usually.
Yeah. Well, it's a 20 grand car back in 2000.
The people, it's a different type of person. It's like when I first left, when I was working on Jaguars and what have you, and went to work on Peugeot Talbot, the first thing the manager says to me, people who buy these aren't as fussy as the folks that you've been working for. You know, they've got a French car, it's going to have some problems, they're not bothered about it. But it's a shame that the Rover 75, well, it's still been made, isn't it?
I don't know.
No, they sold the engines, didn't they? Who did they sell the engines to?
I have no... You've come in the garage because it's cold. I've got no idea. Obviously, Rover is, what, Tata now?
Yeah, but they sold the engines. Wasn't it Kia or something?
I have no idea.
Kia used the KV6, didn't they? One of their people carriers.
I know, obviously, the K-series is in Lotuses.
Yeah, Caterhams and Lotuses, yeah. Because when I went to Powertrain to learn about the engines, a lot of the engines that had blown up there had come out of Lotuses. But the people on the forums now, I guess some of the turbos, they moved the thermostat, didn't they?
Yes.
It's stuck down there. But I've seen these been that hot that they've melted all the inlet manifold and these covers, and we've put them back together and they've still been all right.
So let me tell you about my experience. So I went to look at the car. The coolant level was low. I topped it up with just normal water because I didn't have any oat coolant. I did take a bottle of G12 Plus with me, but following some advice on the internet, it doesn't mix well with other coolants. And I filled it, rightly or wrongly, nearly to the top, because I knew that potentially there was a coolant issue. I got about 50 miles down the road. The temperature gauge... so the car took a long while to warm up, i.e. it took a long while for the windscreen to clear and for it to get warm in the cabin, but it did get warm in the cabin. And the temperature gauge obviously sat at 1/4 which is right, it sat halfway on the gauge. Again, then about 50 miles down the road, the temperature gauge dipped. It dipped to about 1/4. I lost heat in the cabin, and then it went terminal to full. I got the red light come on, and then that was for about, I don't know, 20 seconds, and then it dipped back down to the middle. What does that sound like to you? Obviously still no heat in the cabin.
Well, it's an airlock, isn't it? But the air doesn't come from anywhere, does it? The air can't get in, air comes from inside. You see, when you fill them up, there's a little bleed screw there. Can you see that? That bleeds that rail. Right down there, there's a little...
Oh yeah, I can see it, yeah.
8mm headed bolt, that bleeds that rail.
So are you saying when I filled it up I should have bled the system?
Well, in theory, yeah.
Do you think that it could have had an airlock? And so there wasn't as much water in the system?
Well, you certainly hadn't got it full, because your heater was cold, wasn't it? You just said so.
Mm. But from what you can see, it doesn't look like it's ever had the head gasket replaced.
There's not been a spanner on these bolts for a long, long time, has there? It's certainly not had a lot of tinkering with, has it? I wonder if it's ever had the timing belt done.
I have no idea. So I have zero service history with the car.
Anyway.
All I know is that it was garaged all its life, that it was loved by the owner, that it was cosmetically looked after, but mechanically, I have no idea. Again, no service history with the car. What are you doing now?
Just going to have a look at the oil, really, to be fair.
So I did, you know, I know the basics. Check to see if there's any mayonnaise anywhere. No mayonnaise in the dipstick, no mayonnaise under the engine cap, and no mayonnaise in the coolant reservoir.
Yeah. See, it's not really... That feels oily, that does.
Feels oily?
Yeah, it does.
And what does that mean?
Well, there's been some oil getting in the water, hasn't there?
And that would only be from the head gasket blowing?
No. Or... it could be a head fault, but I've never seen it. There's a stain down the front of the block though, mate.
Oh yeah. I can see that.
I can't remember the last Rover you had where it was leaking there.
I did, yeah. So for those of you who haven't seen the video, I bought a Rover 45. It was a later one, wasn't it? 54 plate.
Yeah.
And the head gasket had gone bang. We knew that. I bought it with a head gasket fault. We replaced it and actually it went bang again, didn't it? Well, there was a coolant issue with it, whether or not the garage that was servicing it for the owner didn't bleed it properly, I don't know. But we did quite a bit to that. Okay, but overall, first reaction, I've bought a Rover 75. How are you feeling?
Well, it's a really tidy car, isn't it? It's worth saving.
That was my reaction. Obviously, the cosmetic stuff is down to me. I can work the cosmetic side of things.
There's no to do.
I looked at this, well, you say that. It needs a good old clean and polish, and the interior needs some TLC. But the way that I saw it is, well, the sills are immaculate, the wheel arches are immaculate.
It's a really tidy car for its age, isn't it? Really tidy car. It's got the bones of something really nice.
Well, Happy New Year, it's yours.
Oh, I'm on a ZTT estate.
That'd be good. Would you not have a 75?
No.
No?
No.
So if I said to you, Dad, it's a future classic, you're the Rover expert, I've gone out and I've bought you a Rover 75, you won't give me a thank you?
No, I can't get no copper tube or anything in it, can I? Can't get stuff in it, can you?
You've still got the Peugeot. This would be your appreciating daily classic.
I've got one of them.
What, a Nissan Note? I said appreciating, not... Although actually, technically, I suppose, the N-Tech Plus Nissan Note, in this condition, what's it done?
It's ULEZ. I can go in the ULEZ zone.
Can you not go in the ULEZ in the 75?
I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so.
Well,
I certainly can't in that.
What's that? The Peugeot?
Yeah, this is ULEZ, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
All right, there we go. But overall, first reaction, have I...
If I really wanted to go to Lincolnshire, though.
What are you doing down there?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to Lincolnshire anymore.
Go on, tell me I've bought something that's good.
Oh, it's all right, mate. It's a nice car, isn't it? It's a nice car. It's a nice car. It really is. You know, it's
Right, so plan of action.
it's middle management, isn't it?
I don't know.
Retired businessman's car.
Well, Mrs. John Coupland's bought me a pipe and slippers for Christmas.
Yeah, it is. Definitely a retired businessman's car.
But overall, first inspection.
When you go to church, you'll fit in.
What mechanically are we doing now?
I reckon we ought to do a cylinder leakage test.
Okay, that'll be coming in a separate video. We're going to do a cylinder leakage test. We'll speak to Dad.
Shed version, not a garage version.
No, well, we are in the Rover 75 workshop. Good, okay, you go get a cup of tea.
I've got to put my
warm
washing
yourself
out.
up.
I've got to put my washing out.
You can't put washing out on New Year's Day.
Well, you can't, can
You can't put washing out on New... Go and tell Mother. Crikey.
I did it.
Well, there you go. Right, thanks for watching. I didn't expect that, to be honest. I expect Dad to be pissing and moaning and saying, "Oh my goodness, what have you bought one of these for?" It's a load of nonsense. I don't want to be working on this. We had no end of trouble with them, but actually, a bit of a glowing review from Dad on the Rover 75. This morning, Happy New Year, if you are watching. There's so much more content coming. We're going to start doing some mechanical work later on the channel. Hope you can join me. Until then, thanks for watching. We'll also have a chat with Dad about his time at Rover, probably in the warm over a cup of tea, and his time at Gaydon Training School, Cowley Training School. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below if you have. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. Hit the like button. Until next time.
We drunk lots of beer on them training.
No wonder the Rovers do. Are you putting your washing out? You brave man. Right, take care. See you again. Bye-bye.